chain will keep us together. Yeah! No! Welcome to Rob Lazar, everybody. That was the 1982. I hope that got picked up. The 1982 performance of "The Chain" by Fleetwood Mac, where Lindsey Buckingham sets a single land record for the most cocaine ever consumed by a human being. He is dressed like the Scarecrow from Wizard of Oz for some reason, and he is turned that song into a hard rock song. Everyone loves Silver Springs performance by Fleetwood Mac. Stevie Nicks, I don't know if she had like just sniffed Lindsey Buckingham's cock and I don't know how fresh it was. I'm not completely familiar, but she stares a hole through the side of his head and they do this wonderful performance. Everyone knows that one, but I think it is rivaled, maybe surpassed by that 1982 performance of "The Chain." It is unbelievable what Lindsey Buckingham is on in that thing. He is just, he's the Scarecrow and Stevie Nicks is a witch, which is not technically part, it's a Wizard of Oz character that shouldn't be in a band together technically. If you understand how the Wizard of Oz works, she's sort of an over here character and he should be with Dorothy and some other people, and instead I guess that's how you get Fleetwood Mac, is if the Wizard of Oz accidentally let the bad witch, it was Glenda the good witch, and what was the other witch? What was the bad witch?
She's the Wicked Witch of the West.
She was just the Wicked Witch of the West?
I think she has a name now due to the play Wicked, but in the movie, it's never mentioned.
She's just, well, I mean, that's a good reason to be the cunt sister.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
You don't even get called your name?
Well, the one gets a name. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if you're sort of predestined, you know what I mean? Like, there's always those things.
I'll look it up.
That, like, there's always those studies where if on resumes, if you have like a particularly black sounding name, you would be like 20% less likely to get, like if you were Deshaun versus Sean, less likely to be hired or whatever. And I would always kind of be like, well, then stop naming your kid Deshaun. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems sort of like defiant for no reason. Naming your kid the Wicked Witch of the West is a really good way to not get them hired on a job application. You know what I mean? Like, you're sort of, you know, I think we can all outgrow our parents to some degree.
Sure.
But that might be asking a bit much of the lady.
You outgrew two sets of parents, technically.
I had 6 parents.
Wait.
Well, because I had my
4.
birth parents, and then my adopted parents, they got divorced. They both got remarried.
Oh, yes.
Think about how many goddamn grandparents that is.
And also, maybe your birth parents are no longer together, and let's assume.
Yeah, I think that was safe to say. I think after the day after, they were no longer together.
Well, there's probably a percentage of adopted kids. I would love doing a documentary about this. It's just adopted kids who find their birth parents and they're still together and have like a normal, successful life.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be some. That is almost that's a fear of mine. That like
they're happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you really truly don't want as an adopted kid, is to find out your parents are like truly productive members of society now.
Yeah.
It's crackheads minimum. But yeah, and we'll do that documentary one day, because I do plan on getting around to that docuseries at some point before my birth mom dies. That is the advantage of the birth mom, though, right? Is that the adopted mom will generally die first, because she got you at a reasonable age, where the birth mom probably had you at a fairly unreasonable age. You know?
Yeah.
So, like, I think
that's true.
Like, my mom was probably old enough to be my birth mom's mom.
Yeah, that's something I've never... Yes.
That's fucking crazy. I never really thought about that before.
But,
like, my mom could have been my birth mom's mom.
Yeah. And there's so much logic behind that, because, like you said, a birth mom is probably too young to have a kid at the time that she gives you up for adoption.
Yes.
And also a mom who adopts probably has a barren womb and had to wait to find out.
She had a couple. My mom had a miscarriage. I think the origin story of my adoption is a fairly icky-bicky, yucky-ducky miscarriage. So, and then they were like, enough of that. And then, my mom's no Lily Allen. who's coming to Toronto in April, everyone. See her before she miscarries again. But I don't know why. I like Lily Allen, but like,
She's cool.
once you tell the public you've miscarried 18 times, like, I'm not even trying to be rude. Just what else am I supposed to think about?
She said that?
I'm pretty sure. Is this like a Tommy Hilfiger thing where, like, it's a rumor that she said that and it's like we didn't have the internet then or whatever, so.
Well, there's the internet can roll with certain things. Like if they get a small enough thing, like we'll get to this later in the podcast. You asked me to bring it up, but I did some research on the whole Gwen Stefani thing that I won't
No
ruin.
spoilers.
I won't spoil it. But what you said they said about her, in my opinion, is like it's probably what she thinks, but
Publicly, she's keeping it a little.
she's never said anything.
Well,
exact.
why are we being. Like, we don't have another topic we need to get to.
Well,
so.
I have one.
What's that?
It's just to mention you were talking about Fleetwood Mac. I have just a very quick, funny Fleetwood Mac story,
Okay.
and it's very quick. It's just I was at a bar in Toronto, not like a year ago, and there was this really hot girl outside or whatever. My girl was next to me and stuff, but this girl was outside.
Otherwise, I totally would have crushed that pussy.
Yeah, that's right. That's the whole point of the story.
Yeah.
By funny, I meant awesome.
Yeah, I made a great sacrifice that day.
I'm such a good guy. No, the girl out there, we were like, hey, what's going on or whatever, and she's like, oh, I'm watching a Fleetwood Mac cover band upstairs, and it's awesome. And I go, I love Fleetwood Mac. I love their music, and she just started talking about Fleetwood Mac, and she was like, you could tell it turned her on, and I'm not being crass, but it turned her on. She was into me just because I like Fleetwood Mac. That's how much she likes Fleetwood Mac.
Wow.
You know, like she was like, even my girl kind of turned to me. She's like, I think this girl's into you, right? And then, we had sex later.
Yeah.
Me and my girl.
Yeah.
Me turning on other women turns on my girl.
Wow, okay.
No, I'm just
Poor girl. Jesus Christ. It would, yeah.
Yeah. No, but the funny thing about the story is, whatever, we had a nice conversation.
Yeah.
She goes back upstairs to her Fleetwood Mac thing. I sent two of my single friends up there to be like, there's some girls upstairs.
Tell them about Buckingham Nicks.
Yeah. Well, you referencing something is great because I have no idea what you're talking about. I realized later I'm a big fan of CCR.
Jesus Christ. That's not even close.
And I thought she was talking about CCR, but she was talking about Fleetwood Mac, and I was talking about CCR the whole time.
And this, by the way, this woman is not even a very big fan of Fleetwood Mac because how in depth of conversation could you possibly have had with this person?
I didn't reveal, and I can give it to her. I didn't reveal enough. I just talked about how much I love listening to Fleetwood Mac when I'm camping, but I meant Creedence Clearwater.
Fleetwood Mac's not bad camping music either, I guess.
No, which is why she didn't figure it out. Anyway,
I loved when Lindsey Buckingham went and re-recorded all of his music so that he could do the masters. Do you know that Doug Stanhope's doing that? By the way, and Stanhope, if we can get this clip to you, if you want to come to Toronto and so here's what he's doing. He's like Taylor Swift. Is re-recorded all of her music so she owns her masters on it.
Oh yes, several people have done that. Yeah.
He's doing all of his old comedy albums again so that he can own the masters to the albums now. So he's going to redo Deadbeat Hero and No Refunds and Oslo, whatever, the Burning the Bridge to Nowhere. I'm trying to remember as many I was on that tour, so I should know that one better, but yeah, he's going to record all of those. So Stanhope, if you want to run all of them in succession, first of all, this is how you have to do this, dude, is you do it Taylor Swift style. Don't try to piecemeal run these all together where you do one in one town and one in another. Pick your big markets. I know you love little towns. You go to Bangor, Maine, but just hub it. Make people come to you. They'll do it. Just tell them. They love you. You've built a cachet up, dude. Do hubs and stay in those hubs for a week at a time. You can do 2 shows a night for 3 days, get 6 albums out. I don't know how many albums are you got to record. Stay in the town for multiple days and do 8 p.m. Deadbeat Hero, 10 p.m., no refunds. Do you understand how much overlap, how many of your fans will go to like all of those, dude? That's the way to do it. Do it in every city. If you want to do it in Toronto, I got you. I'll figure it out for you. Anyways.
No, I gotta say, I love that idea. And actually, the more I think about it, because I've heard of this re-recording thing. There's a few artists I like that did it, like rappers and stuff like that. It makes actually more sense with comedy.
Yeah, like absolutely. And it's because we perform things over and over again anyways. It's an entirely different, like, it's still going to be fun. It lives in the room. It's going to be different, right? But like, I remember when I was on tour with Doug the first time, we were in Regina, and there was like 50 people in this bar in Regina. And there's two things. He paid me a really sick compliment, which will always stick with me and probably like help keep me around for a long time early on. And the second thing was he did like a handful of old one-liners where he's like, you know what? No one's ever seen these fucking jokes for like whatever. He did the so I was titty fucking my girlfriend, and she asked me, how you make this feel good for me? And he said, well, when I come, I'll stop punching you in the head. He did that one. Yeah. It was sick. It was so fun. Anyways, that was on the fucking word of mouth. Oh yeah, you'll have to do word of mouth.
I love
like,
that.
I'm a fan, man. I'd go see all of that shit.
Well, that's the other aspect of this that's amazing, is that the thing about musical artists doing it is when they have to perform that live, it's not like they stop performing those
a lot
jokes.
Of those songs. Yeah,
they were performing them. They're just re-recording them for resale,
Yeah.
like so they own it or whatever. But comedians, they stopped doing that material.
We dead them. They're gone. Yeah.
Like, I know you said you weren't as big of a fan, but there's certain Brian Regan jokes where if he was telling them like from his really old stuff in like the fucking what was that Comedy Club 54 or whatever
the
they used to have on
Moon
TV?
One, whatever. That's his big special.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I would watch that live just for fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Could you imagine you could pay right now to go see Bert Kreischer do the Machine Story? I would pay any amount of money to see Bert finally tell the Machine Story again.
I was thinking of him when I said this, but I'm like, there's exceptions. But
Yeah. You know what we should all do? We should all make full-length theatrical releases about our bits. I will say on that, first of all, Bert, I paid to see it. I went to the little kiosk. I probably didn't talk to anybody. There was like a person standing right behind the kiosk for some reason, and I make eye contact with them while I use the kiosk to buy the showtime. It's fucking nuts. And then, but they're like immigrants, so they're like scared to talk to me. So this is just the better. Like, that's what we've really done is we've not technology has not replaced anybody. It is simply just bridged the gap that all of our labor is now immigrant labor. Because like all these people who don't want to have a social interaction with us now just have a screen and they're in charge of the screen. The screen hasn't replaced them. They're still there. They monitor the screen and make sure nobody's licking or coming on the screen. And then we all use the screen and then whatever. Anyways, Bert, I paid for the movie. And I am closer, like, we're not really friends even, but like, mild acquaintances. But you did ask me to stay at your house to watch your dog once at the Soho House, but you were pretty drunk. But anyways, closer with Ari. Weirdly, I did watch Ari's dog. What am I, a fucking dog sitter? Anyways, Ari's movie, I know it wasn't his movie. It was the ShamWow guy's movie. But didn't pay to see that. Went to go see something else. Snuck into Ari's movie later. And then sent him a picture of the empty movie theater, which was quite fun. Just to go, I didn't pay for this, and this is who's here. And it was nobody. It was literally... Like, why does a movie theater...
play those?
Press play. Like, they know that no one's there. They've got the information. Like, the theater... Clearly, they can go in a database and go, 0 sold... for ShamWow the movie or whatever the fuck that thing was called.
The show must go on. That works for movie theaters and plays in the 80s and 70s.
If there was nobody in the house, they would just do the play?
The show must go on.
Oh, I didn't know.
I've been to comedy shows, where we did it for 2 people.
Yeah, but with a whole Broadway, I assumed the show must go on. I always thought that was more like if the director had just raped the lead actress,
Oh,
she
and
still has to perform.
She has to perform.
Yeah.
I think it covers several.
It's sort of
Yeah.
yeah. It depends.
It's an all-encompassing statement.
It's one of those ones where it's in the eye of the beholder. Really, it
Yeah,
protects
yeah.
both parties. Yeah. Well, and on the subject of rape, Gwen Stefani. I saw nothing more this week than just who was calling her out. It was like I don't know these reality stars.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I could have downloaded a video where it says that person, but I was like, I don't know who the fuck this is, and there's no way that Rob does either.
No, it was like a desperate housewife or a hot wife of something, or she was somebody's wife.
If you want context, a plasticky blonde girl called out a different plasticky blonde girl. One of them has talent, the other one doesn't.
Well, listen, I wouldn't say being a housewife's a talent. No, I like Gwen Stefani a lot. Gwen Stefani, this is, by the way, if this is scored against her. No, I liked hearing about this holiday season. What a good seasonal clip. I like that. That's very nice. Because do you know this? And because I'm one of the very rare Courtney Love defenders.
Yes. Yes, you mentioned it on this podcast.
I think there's a real chance, guys, that maybe Courtney Love didn't kill her husband, and that if that's the case, we've all just been really mean to a lady for like quite some time. Oh, why do I feel like I've seen this maybe? But anyways, if Gwen Stefani is an evil pro-lifer, David Grohl's kind of a douche, maybe Courtney Love is the good guy after all. Maybe just like how Glenn, the Wicked Witch of the West, if you look at it from her perspective, she was the good person. I think that's what the movie Wicked is about, right? Isn't Wicked just basically about how she's the good one?
I think I have to watch it. I assumed in my head, and this is all an assumption, it's not that she's the good one and Glenda's the bad one. It's just that things are more murky than...
We're all trying our best.
Yeah.
That's sort of whatever. How is there a Wicked 2? Is that a thing? Wicked 2 is a movie?
I mean, if it's possible to do, Hollywood's going to do it. I mean, I was thinking about this the other day. As much as I loved Terminator as an idea, if you watch the movies, the third one, they bring it back, even though they ended everything.
See, okay, we're going to end up spending the next fucking 40 minutes discussing this now because I am a staunch Terminator 3 defender. It was inevitable. We have to understand it was always going to happen.
Do you love that idea?
That message. The message is perfect.
I don't want to go as far as I hated that message. I did not like that message.
But isn't it what we're living in right now? As this future comes, doesn't Terminator 3 make more sense? Think about it this way, right? So, of course, Terminator 2 didn't actually happen. Like,
right.
We have not had cybernetic beings. To the best of my knowledge, we have not had cybernetic time-traveling beings come and fight. Whatever. I don't know how you explain Corey Feldman entirely then, but I don't think that's what's happened. So, we have had the film, right?
Yeah.
So, like, okay, let's think about this in the terms of the Bible. You know, me or you.
Perfect.
We can think of this at like, is religion real? Is it not? Which religion's correct? Which one's not? We can argue up and down all day, but truthfully, at the end of the day, neither me nor you have the answer inside of ourselves, Sanker. You know what I mean?
I mean, I grew up in the correct answer, but all right.
Sure, fair enough. Yeah. But the point is, you're just following scripture. You know? There's this text, and you follow the text. Did the text happen? Did it not happen? Ultimately, does it really matter? Or is it just a book of good ideas that you can follow, and it's a good way for us all to live and collectively be part of a society together and have like shared customs and values, right? Ultimately, it doesn't really matter if there was a Jesus. If you behave like there was a Jesus, everyone's maybe going to be a little bit better.
Sure.
Or whatever.
I agree.
So we should behave like there was a Terminator 2. right? Much like the Bible, we have Terminator 2. So even if John Connor didn't fight Arnold Schwarzenegger and there isn't Jason Patrick being a liquid robot and whatever,
Yeah.
we know that is possible, right? We have the scripture. So are we not now living in Terminator 3? Because we have the scripture, we understand Terminator 2 exists, and regardless, we're still letting AI get down this path that could lead to Skynet. So is it not inevitable?
The number one thing in the movies that supports you liking this idea is that technically even the first to the second indicates that it was inevitable, because the second one suggests that the robots didn't happen. They only happened because robots went back in time and they used that technology to, like that I can't remember the actor's name, but the black scientist
Neil
found
deGrasse
the arm.
Tyson.
Yes, Neil deGrasse Tyson found the arm of Terminator in the first movie, and he used that as a basis to like figure out how to make like robots.
Yes,
in
they
the
actually
present.
sped the process up is the idea, I believe.
Right, but after the third one, I think it's more the idea that it was going to happen no matter what.
Because it was inevitable, see? Thank you. So it's really Terminator is really a philosophical debate about free will, you know? Like if you really get down to it, it really is. Listen, it is James Cameron. Like we can pretend like it's schlock if we want, but that guy's a fucking psychopath.
He's a psychopath?
James Cameron, in like detail and care. I mean, like he's like he really gives a shit about his work.
Okay, yeah.
Like
yeah,
if there, like he literally created a whole fake world for Avatar with like languages and whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
this
but I
guy
mean-
like gives a shit about the universe he creates.
Yeah. No, look. Terminator 2 is in my whatever list of greatest movies of all time. Not because I think artistically whatever, but it's just it's the greatest sequel of all time for sure.
Man, by the way, the most Terminator 2 thing of all time is happening in Toronto this summer. Public Enemy's opening for Guns N' Roses.
Oh, really?
Yeah, is there anything more Terminator 2 soundtrack than Guns N' Roses and Public Enemy being in a place? List Terminators, if you're watching this, that's the perfect moment to come back. Is in between sets. Let Public Enemy finish, because honestly, I'm going to go to that concert and I'm going to be there way more for Public Enemy than for Guns N' Roses. I love Guns N' Roses, but I've seen them enough times at this point. I'm kind of, the novelty's worn off a little bit, and that's reflected in the cost of the tickets, because they are not that high right now, guys. But Public Enemy hasn't been here since 2012, a concert that I attended with Jared Campbell. Anyways. Man, you can really tell I didn't have a lot to talk about this week. But yeah, I believe that anyways, Terminator 2 is like the Bible, is basically the point of that.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm good with this, because by that suggestion, Terminator 1 is the Torah, and
Yep.
Terminator 3 is the Quran, which it's very clear which is my least favorite.
And it's very clear then that it seems like Gwen Stefani must be a Terminator 2 gal.
Yeah.
So let's watch this now. Let's see, you're all pretty done up for Christmas.
It is important this holiday season to spend time in prayer. That is what Christmas is all about, letting God into our hearts and letting Jesus bring us his peace. Download Hallow today and join me and millions of others in praying every day this Advent and Christmas season on Hallow. Our Pray 25 theme is Be Still. Being still in God's
I think
presence
she's just
can
going
be
to go
hard.
over.
Yeah.
more
I
Christian
get the
things.
idea. So she took a check.
She took a check
Yeah.
with Halo. I thought it was Halo, but I guess it's Halo.
Yeah, it's Halo's trademark.
So the reason it seems like I'm missing something here, but it's not, is that's all she did to indicate she was pro-abortion.
So nothing else is indicating whatsoever that she just prays.
It's
Well, she did marry Blake Shelton. I think that's a pretty clear sign that you're pro-life, no?
Do I think she's pro-life? absolutely, because she's apparently so Christian that she's part of the Hallow app, which is like, like who else did they get? Mark Wahlberg, I think. It's his app, I think, isn't it?
Is it?
It has some connection to Mark Wahlberg, unless there's a different Christian app.
It does entirely. Does it also blind Chinese people in their left eye?
Is that an abortion thing?
No, do you not know that about Mark Wahlberg?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
You know what? I'm so unracist. I didn't know what you were talking about because he was Vietnamese.
Oh, my apologies.
Yeah.
Oh, so sorry. I apologize to the Viet community for your eyes getting punched by Mark Wahlberg. Who's the real criminal in this last 25 seconds?
Yep. Mark
But yeah.
Wahlberg, prominent partnership with the Hallow Catholic Prayer app.
Yeah, again, another guy that was like, well, what are you, surprised?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, how many abortions do you think he does abortions the old-fashioned way? You know what I mean? If he wasn't ready to bring life into this world, he'd go Mickey Ward on him, you know?
Yeah. He's an old kick to the stomach type.
It's still, no matter what, any of it, the idea that him saying, and by the way, I believe this myself with everything in my heart. I think truly to be a man, is to believe what Mark Wahlberg said. I think this is the mark of real masculinity, and that is, if I had been on 9/11, things would have went different.
Yeah. I mean, I truly believe that.
I definitely think that if Mark Wahlberg had been on the planes during 9/11, things probably would have went differently. I think Israel would have went, hey, Mark Wahlberg's on that plane. We got to leave that one alone. He makes us a lot of money. Anyways, what are we watching here?
This is just the more so that was the background. This is the news story.
Okay, here we go.
Forgot the volume. Podcast.
I mean,
producer
Gwen Stefani
extraordinaire.
does look like she should be sitting in the conservative chair on The View.
It's insane to think about. I guess this maybe should be the talk after, but it's insane to think about where she ended up from where people understood her to be at her start. She went like an opposite Pink thing.
Yeah. We're now gay people hate her.
Oh, do gay people
Love Pink?
Love
Yes.
Pink? Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. But no, I meant more of the Pink started out poppy because that's what the industry wanted from her. And she was like, no, I'm more rock and roll, And then Gwen Stefani started out rock and rolly and then said, well, pop is where the money's at. And also I want to inject shit into my lips.
Well, here's the thing. Not entirely true. This is a Courtney Love creation. Because what's the first big pop song Gwen Stefani does?
Bananas, maybe?
Hollaback Girl.
Hollaback Girl,
yeah. I mean, it should have been called Bananas, but I feel like racially they weren't comfortable with that. That is a Courtney Love diss track.
Is it?
You think that you could talk this shit and you didn't think that I would hear it.
Well, yeah, I remember those lyrics, but I just assumed that's like a general I'm a girl thing. People
Courtney
are after
Love
me.
Said in an interview, I never wanted to be the cheerleader. Gwen Stefani wanted to be the cheerleader. I wanted to blah, 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 blah.
Oh, that's also why there's band camp imagery.
That's why
and
she's a cheerleader in it. Because Gwen Stefani said, you think I'm the cheerleader? I'll show you I'm the cheerleader and whatever. So that pop direction was inadvertently pushed on Gwen Stefani by Courtney Love. And this is the direction now that things splinter off into. Courtney Love there's always an artist in our time that is the most important artist that is living in that particular era. I know Courtney Love is not dead, but prior to Kanye West, we had Courtney Love. Forget Kurt Cobain.
That's what I was thinking is even though you're, somewhat defending Courtney Love in that she may not have killed the greatest mumbler of all time, but that doesn't mean she's not an asshole.
She could be the world's biggest cunt, but she was also the world's biggest muse. More fucking art came out because of Courtney Love than any other person walking the earth at that time.
What else has?
Nine Inch Nails songs and Smashing Pin Foo Fighter songs and whatever. Not just that. She was. I mean, how many people that people hate that much were also nominated for Best Supporting Actress in a fucking awesome film?
What movie was that again?
The People versus Larry Flint.
Oh yeah. I never saw that one though, but I do know about it.
Oh, go home and watch it tonight.
Yeah.
Good flick. Yeah, Norm Macdonald prominent in it. Woody Harrelson's just an awesome fucking Larry Flint.
I had one of those brain farts where you said Woody Harrelson, and I thought about Woody Allen, and I'm like, he plays Larry Flint. Yeah.
Shows them your pussy.
Yeah, shows them pussy.
What if?
Yeah.
What if we showed them fucking? I don't have a Woody Allen, but
My Woody Allen is all noises, but not like
yeah. It's
But
hard to put the sentences together.
yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's see this nobody bitch insult a pop punk princess. Chriselle
all
Strauss.
audio?
I'll read it out loud. Wasn't afraid to tell Gwen Stefani exactly how she felt or something. The Selling Sunset star wrote in comment section of Instagram reel about Gwen Stefani's ad referring to No Doubt's 1996 hit saying, all right, next screen.
Oh, it's just the music was annoying me.
Gwen Stefani, don't speak. Please take your own advice on this one. Wow. Got her. Earlier this month, Gwen Stefani shared an Instagram reel marked paid sponsorship. That marked paid sponsorship. Thank you. It's a Christian prayer app that offers audio-guided meditation. She's just Sam Harris with lipstick. But yeah, so don't
So
speak.
that's it.
Don't speak. I know just what you're thinking, and I'm gonna keep this baby.
I'm just literally, it's just such a non-story in that it doesn't. She probably is anti-abortion, but nothing in what she did indicated that.
And yeah, so this lady is kind of just saying, hey, don't be religious.
Yes,
Like,
correct.
don't have your faith, which is, yeah. I mean, this is an old talking point, obviously, but you really can't do that to anyone but Christians, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, good God, if somebody said that, if Gwen Stefani was meditating to the Torah, that would be a very different story, how that story would be. And they'd be saying,
Yep.
Selling Sunset star sells her career.
Yeah, even if she was like a goofy Hindu or something, and I say that as half goofy Hindu.
Yeah.
Yeah. That though, yeah, it's true. Christian is the only one you can kind of be like, oh, fuck you fucking
Yeah, you
Christian
can't be
bitch.
that thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Selling Sunset, by the way, I don't know if you know that show. Probably, I guess, the least Christian show in that it's not least Christian. I don't want to say
I mean, I think there's probably less Christian shows, but I understand what you're saying.
It's a greed based. Let's be rich and sell rich houses to rich people and fuck the poor type of show.
Yes, it wasn't exactly. I don't believe it was Jesus turning over the speculators' tables in the temple. Yeah. I understand the whatever. Anyways, I think Gwen Stefani's probably fine. She's allowed to be a little religious. I mean, she married Blake Shelton. I think that's like we get the picture. I think a little bit, but
I just still couldn't see it coming. Like if you told me, in whatever year No Doubt was like at their height of popularity, like Don't Speak height or whatever, you're like, this girl is going to dye her hair blonde long, start coming out with pop songs, then eventually marry a country singer, and then highly involve herself in a prayer app. I would be like, oh, that's hilarious. That's weird.
fair. But you know who could have told you that? Courtney Love. So here's to you, Courtney. One more in your column. And David Grohl, release the Neve. It shouldn't be yours. Make it public use. Get it out of your house. But anyways, that's a little inside Sound City talk.
The Neve.
That's the console that was in Sound City, a recording studio in Culver City, where, not to bring it back to Fleetwood Mac again, but Buckingham Nicks was recorded. The Fleetwood Mac self-titled album that brought the commercially successful lineup together. That's the crazy story about Fleetwood Mac, and this would have You clearly didn't hit her with this because you thought it was CCR.
Well, Fleetwood Mac, great to listen to in Vietnam movies.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing gets you ready for war quite like Rhiannon. Yeah, Buckingham Nicks. It's a beautiful story. So Lindsey Buckingham and Fleetwood Mac are Buckingham Nicks in the 70s. They released this album. They record at Sound City through Geffen. Doesn't get a lot of. It gets 44,000 copies released at all. They have one tour only through Alabama, and they get dropped from their label. So they are literally cleaning. Like Stevie Nicks is working as like the maid of Sound City, and Fleetwood Mac has come to record their next album there, and they lose Peter Green, their guitar player. So they are looking for a guitar player. They are, what is the guy's name? Bob Elgin, I want to say. Something along those lines. Plays them, Buckingham Nicks, Lindsey Buckingham's guitar picking on Frozen Love. This album actually just got re-released finally. This was like my secret favorite little album that nobody knew about for a long time, but they've actually just put it out back on vinyl. But Frozen Love, this guitar picking was playing. Now hand me the fucking mandolin. What are we doing?
You put the man in mandolin.
One day I'm just gonna I'm gonna go away for a week and come back and just be able to rip on this fucking mandolin. You may not be as long as me. Anyways, so they hear that guitar pick and they go, that's our guitar player. They want Lindsey Buckingham. But Lindsey Buckingham tells them, you can't have me without Stevie.
I'm going to lay some, while you say this, I'm going to lay some Fleetwood Mac in the background just to like have a little background music. Go ahead.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. I like that. So they go to Lindsey Buckingham. He says, you have to take Stevie, you take me. They do. They go on to be Fleetwood Mac. They all fuck each other. Christy fucks the light guy. Lindsey does whatever he does. Stevie stares a hole through his head. They all have that fun. Let's just call this episode Fleetwood Mac, I guess, at this point. But which is like I'm entirely comfortable with.
Can we call it Fleetwood Mac Revival?
Sure. Yeah. Buckingham. It is really funny that you fought.
I'm such an asshole.
It's just like a crazy far off. Like it's not even like they sound like the same thing. And Fleetwood Mac is a very big band. You know.
It's, you know what it is? It just harkens back to, I remember when I first started working at like my day job, which was my old day job or whatever. And a coworker was an Irish guy. He's like talking about rock and stuff. And I go, I like it. I just didn't, he's like, you don't know this song? And I'm like, I didn't really grow up with rock. And he's like, what does that mean? Everybody grew up with rock. And I'm like, I didn't. So there's a lot that I'm like learning now. I'm like a baby.
Yeah, what? Like, how did that? I tend to side with that gentleman.
I didn't grow up with rock music at all.
But so, like, what did you get? Samba? Like, what were you doing?
No. Yeah, we were big into samba. Look, I know movie music.
Rock. Okay.
Yeah, movie rock. If there was a movie I really liked and it had a rock song, I know it. I may not know who was performing it, but I liked it. Like Eye of the Tiger meant a lot to me.
Sure.
Took me a very long time to learn that there's a band called Survivor.
I love that your idea of rock music is like Europe's Final Countdown.
Oh, Final Countdown. Real important to me. Anything in Rocky, anything, and now this is going to be bumping up against pretty much not rock, but anything in Karate Kid.
Sure.
Very important.
I need a hero. The hero to the end of the night, and he's gotta be strong, and he's gotta
that
be
I knew of,
and he's gotta be fresh for the fight.
Mostly due to Shrek, I knew that one more.
All right, that's not what I was going for, but I
was in
that.
Shrek.
Okay, is that all right? All right. What else? What are some other good? How's the Top Gun soundtrack hit you?
So I watched Top Gun not like recently, but like much later, and like I was a teenager, so I started to know some rock or whatever. Oh, and then eventually, once I became like an Attitude Era WWF fan,
theme songs.
I do theme songs, or you remember every pay-per-view had a song.
Yes.
So I don't know any of the rest of their catalog, but I really enjoyed My Sacrifice by Creed
Awesome.
because
All right.
I think it was the theme song for, I want to say Unforgiven one of the years.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you heard a lot of Rob Zombie songs that weren't Living Dead Girl, but sounded just like Living Dead Girl.
probably, but I can't tell you what they are.
Every Rob Zombie, is this reruns already? But every Rob Zombie song can be turned into Living Dead Girl if you want it to be.
I think you did play that for me, but it's still don't remember. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, you can just Dragula. You can just Living Dead Girl. Like you could just put Living Dead Girl into any Rob Zombie song at some point.
I feel like one of the PlayStation wrestling games that was like the intro.
Makes sense.
They would every wrestling game eventually when you turned on the game, it would play like a highlight of wrestling moments, and then they'd have a song.
Yeah.
And I think for one of the games,
That would track
That
probably
was
like
it.
the PlayStation 2
Yeah,
era
yeah.
of things. What song was ruined for you by being in a video game that loaded for too long and it pissed you off?
oh fuck, I have to think about that.
I can play you mine because it
Yeah.
ended up being an artist whom I love, and I believe in two separate occasions at a concert have had a personal moment with in a real deep way. But I'll play the song for you because before I was a fan, he had a song on. I believe it was. I want to say a Madden 2007 or something.
Oh, okay, that's interesting because that would go way more hip hop later.
It was
As
hip
time
hop
went-
later,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to track it down.
Most
because-
sports games, except for hockey, went the route of mostly hip hop in their songs. But yeah, while you track that down,
Yes,
the answer
please.
to your original question is I have two parents, unlike you, just two. My mom really big into jazz and classical music, and then certain like 80s pop. Like both my parents were fans of like Michael Jackson and stuff like that, but like very rare. Really, my mom listened to a lot of classical and jazz music, right? And then my dad is a third worlder, so he was really into what Guyanese people listen to, which was like calypso and reggae and something called chutney, which people don't know
Yeah, it's a
about
jam.
here. No.
It's ironic though that we call rock music like a jam or we're jamming,
Right.
And you guys have a chutney. That works out very nicely, honestly.
Yes, but chutney is essentially it does. I never thought about that. I didn't realize how much that works out. A chutney is essentially it started out by taking Bollywood songs, and then a DJ would speed it up and add drums to it and stuff like that. So it's like hyped up Bollywood music, and then eventually Guyanese Indians started like just singing over that, mostly about leaving your wife and being a drunk.
Sick.
It's a little country music-y in the subject matter that they talk about,
Okay.
but not in sound at all.
All right, fun.
So I grew up with that stuff. So I didn't like. There's just like I was never hanging out with my family and rock music was playing ever.
So like where does that lead to now? Like if you were a young Guyanese still listening to chutney music or whatever,
Yeah.
like does that have an end path to today like music?
So I mean, like if you're a Canadian kid like me, you eventually get whoever you make friends with, you eventually get introduced
Yes,
to it.
you're gonna grow out of chutney. I understand.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah. As a kid, I didn't even like it because it was like what my parents listened to. Now I do. But you know, like my sister was into hip hop, so that's why I started getting into that first. I would secretly love Sum 41 as a teenager, but none of my friends were like rock guys, so I just kept that one to myself. But yeah, you know, all my friends, everyone listened to hip hop and stuff like that, so I listened to that. You know, I got into soca. Soca is a lot more like young, around Toronto, acceptable dance hall, which is like more Jamaican based or whatever. And then you realize, you learn that you're just being a fucking tool by thinking like rock is like white people music. Because I went to Guyana when I was 18, and my cousins over there were really big into Bon Jovi, which I'm not saying is cool.
No, but I mean, it's
But
something.
it's rock,
Yeah.
and I learned, I can like rock or whatever.
It's my life and it's now or never. One time, me and my friend Adam Delisle and Kyle Lozon, I don't
Yeah.
remember why this happened, but it started out of laziness that song was on repeat and we just weren't fixing it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then it became funny to us, and I believe it played 79 straight times before we changed it. Is Ricky Jai still a big chutney artist?
Yeah, I don't know if he's still big, but he's not completely out of it.
How about Key in the Band?
Key in the Band, that one I might not know as much.
All right, we're going to cue some of this up in a second, but I just want to play. This is the song by Killer Mike that was in Madden that ruined Killer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, that bothered me so much. I believe that me and Killer Mike had a momentary connection during Motherless when he performed at the Danforth Music Hall last time he was in Toronto. Great venue to see a concert, by the way. For like theater or comedy, it could be a little far back, but for a concert, like if it's standing room, that's a good fucking space because you can get up pretty close. But it is Ticketmaster, so they will rape you. But yeah, okay, hold on. We're gonna look up some Ricky J.
Yeah, his biggest song was a song called Mortor.
Here we are.
Mortor. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, this is the song. This was big. This was, you're at a wedding. This is killing.
Yeah.
This is huge.
It says it.
Them young yell whining. Mortor. 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 Lava mila es aquila. Yeah, this is big. This is really big. It's not the biggest, but it's big.
Yeah, well, this is number 2 on his essentials. Anyways, that's featuring Ricky Jai. That is actually Machel Montano.
Oh, no. Machel Montano would be the feature on that song.
Okay.
But that guy, Machel Montano, is like the arguably, some people may say it would change now, but for years you would have said he's the biggest Trinidadian artist of all time. He's like, he's so fucking big. That guy is rich. That guy makes so much fucking money.
Is the lineage of this now? Is this what becomes Vibes Cartel?
No. That's old. That's not older. This is that song is kind of older than him, or about the time he would start. No, Vibes Cartel comes out of. There's a lineage more of like in Jamaica, like crooning and like some early rock music and stuff like that came to Jamaica, and they were doing that, but that just out of their difference in culture eventually evolved into like something called rocksteady and ska, not the ska where like white dudes wear fedoras and thing, like its own thing, and that turns into reggae as you know it, like Bob Marley and Peter Tosh and stuff like that, and No Doubt, right?
the religious
Correct.
rights, No Doubt.
And then people eventually take reggae, make it harder, and turn it into like a club thing, and that becomes dancehall, which is what Vibes Cartel is.
So what
Take
you're
all the
saying
positivity
is,
out of reggae and add harder beats, meaner things to say, and that becomes dancehall.
so you're saying that Vibes Cartel owes Gwen Stefani his career.
For sure. Yeah. There's a direct connection.
I hated that song. That one's worse. I don't care how many abortion clinics Gwen Stefani bombs.
Her
It'll
biggest
never
bomb
be
is-
as bad as Hella Good. I fucking hated that track. I don't know what it was. There's something I like, No Doubt, but that song fucking bothered me for some reason.
You know what it is? It's an example of what leads into what she would do later, I would say.
It was just the fucking breathing. That and the dogs barking in Jane's Addiction's Never Been Caught Stealing.
Yeah.
Or just at the beginning of the song, and then just periodically through the song is so fucking annoying. If you own a dog and you listen to that song, you want to beat the shit out of fucking Perry Farrell every time. And I think probably pretty often David Navarro did beat the shit out of Perry Farrell. But all right, there's that. What do we have? A couple other things. How long we've been going there?
I texted you, and I feel very hurt. You asked hey, do you have any topics you want to cover? And I texted a slew of things that made me angry this week.
Okay.
And you reacted to none of them because apparently things that make me angry are not transferable to other people.
It's like I can't catch your anger about things.
The one that made me the most mad is I said, "Oh, sales tax has been making me really mad lately," and your response was, "Is that still a thing?"
No, I wrote just that it exists.
I get it. Oh, okay. I read that wrong.
Yeah. Well, I was just like, what about, like, is there a new sales tax or something?
No, it's not.
You're just like, goddamn fucking, I don't know.
It's one of those things where I wasn't smart enough to realize that it should make me mad, and now it does. And not because I'm smarter, but
All right, well, let's talk it out. So I've heard this argument in regards to certain items, like, are tampons... Do they have no sales tax now? See, because that was always an argument, and I believe entirely tampons should not have sales tax. Of course,
no. But my argument is nothing
should have sales tax. Now hit me with this argument.
And my argument is because income tax already exists. So this is my thought process. It's more in general that tax is bullshit, and I haven't been able to articulate this well. You're better. You might turn this into an argument that I can tell people later.
Sure.
Sort of like, you ever heard that Bert Kreischer idea where he says, I tell stories to other people and then I tell them to tell it back to me, and they tell it without all the fat?
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool idea.
And that way, when he's lying, you can blame it on Jay Moore.
Sure.
Or somebody else.
I did side with Jay Moore on that
Anyways.
one. My argument is...
I'll still watch your dog, Bert. Sorry, go ahead.
The way it works right now is I work a job and I get paid by my company, and the government takes income tax off of the money I made. Correct. So to simplify things, if I made $100 and they take 15% or 20% or whatever my tax bracket is, but whatever, let's say, make it easy, 20%. So now that's $20 is gone. They took that and I have 80 left. And then I go to a store and I decide to buy an Ed Hardy t-shirt like a douchebag, right?
Sure.
And I give, let's say, another $80, all my $80 to buy the wonderful Ed Hardy t-shirt. I give that to that store, right? Mm-hmm. And that store has to declare that as income, and get taxed on that $80. So let's say they take another 20 out of that. There's 60 left. That goes to the government. The government now has $40. Fine. Great. But what the government does is they go, no, we need one more cut. So when you buy that Ed Hardy t-shirt, we need you to give me more tax just because we let you buy something. And I'm like, that's insane, because that $100 got taxed 3 times when twice is good enough.
Okay, so let me walk through this a little bit. Now, as somebody who was a quasi-legal citizen of a country, my argument was always about how, you don't pay taxes, you don't whatever. First of all, America, I would have loved to have paid taxes. You just make it very hard. And
sure.
You asked me politely not to come back for a while, so now I can't. But I did, however, pay sales tax. And so the sales tax is kind of quietly your black market taxation. It is for people who, listen, they ain't getting everybody's income. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
Every dollar of income that everybody that exists that can hide, we hide every fucking dollar we possibly can. So that's the kind of workaround for people in the black market and whatever is the sales tax. And listen, I hear what you're saying.
I'm not in the black market.
No, for sure. But the argument that ends up getting worked out is, okay, so what would then happen is a lot of the services the government provides for employees of, and by the way, I would just like to say right off the beginning of this, we would love to apologize to the nice people at Ed Hardy, your company, your Ed himself, and the entire crew over there. I'm not personally aware, but if you are ever looking to put your ad dollars into podcasting, we're happy to have you. So Ed pays his employees probably, somewhat substandard. I'm talking if he has a store or a department store that Ed Hardy clothing might appear in. You know what I mean? They're going to make probably not a great wage, right? And a lot of those people's wages will be supplemented by the government in one way or another. So we could take away the sales tax.
Yes.
That would then mean, okay, would a libertarian, if this was part of the problem, you would say that, like, well, the company can take care of that burden. The company, whatever. So now the buck would be passed on to the company, right?
Correct.
Somebody's got to take care of that gap that these people now have that can't afford to live anymore off Ed Hardy. Ed Hardy's going to have to come to the table and make with a little bit more dough. That little bit more dough that Ed Hardy's going to have to come to the table with is going to inevitably be passed back on to you, Sanker, the Ed Hardy customer. And you're going to end up paying that 7% into cost anyways. They're just going to push it back on to you. It's just, ultimately with taxation, Dave and the gang, it just makes more sense to do things collectively. And what ends up happening when you don't do things collectively, the argument is always, well, look, these things can be done through the private. But look into the numbers into charities. Look into any fucking major charity and look at what percentage of the money donated to the charity actually makes its way through to the people that it's supposed to be supporting. There's just as much, if not more, bureaucracy in a private company charity than there is in a government. I personally, as a Keynesian economics fella, as a Bernie Sanders bro and a Noam Chomsky guy, believe that if we want really good rates on, let's go to the healthcare aspect of things.
Yeah.
Healthcare. The best way to get those rates is to act collectively. Because what happens, right? You have this one industry that can monopolize something that's very important to all of us, our health. So what is the best way to combat what could be a giant monopoly on something that we hold very important is collective bargaining. And so if we have this large body of collective bargaining, we can then go to those companies and fight for lower rates, which is why, like, you see now that Americans are allowed to get pharmaceutical drugs and brought back into the U.S. from Canada. Windsor, where I'm from, my mom was having trouble getting diabetes medication when that happened because it's 10 times cheaper here for insulin than it is in the U.S. So the private system's not working out to lower costs with anybody because you don't have collective bargaining. You are all these piecemeal individual groups. And, like, yes, you're getting smaller collective bargainings in this insurance company and that insurance company and whatever, but you have all the same perverse incentives that you would have with the government, but now without as much power to bargain against these companies. And, like, listen, those are the type of companies you need that against. You don't need everything to be run by the government. We don't need the automotive sector to be run by the government because we don't really need to bid against cars like that. Our cars can't go, hey, we're $1 million now. What are you going to do? We're not going to buy cars, and they're going to go out of business and another car company is going to open. But if they're like, hey, all of a sudden AIDS medication is $20,000 a pill, that's where you get into tricky shit, right? That's why you need collective bargaining. I think when it comes to taxation, personally, and I've had this argument before, and Dave hopefully is coming to Toronto sometime relatively soon, and maybe we can have this conversation ourselves on this podcast. But I believe when you go to Miami...
Him and Val Venus, other famous libertarian.
Yeah, I'd love to have Val on as well. Yeah, both known for their penises.
Yes. But yes, sorry, I interrupted.
No, it's okay. I believe, like, the idea of what you're saying, not saying you're a libertarian, but let's, go out to the maximalist position of libertarianism. I have had these two arguments. One of the arguments I've had has become, like, a big topic of conversation on Legion of Skanks. Like, I feel like I'm actually regularly having an argument with Dave Smith through Big J's mouth. in that there's two things that, let me say the one first. Well, no, let me say the Dave one first, is the build your own roads theory. When you get down to the libertarian idealism of build your own roads, and I know that when Jay talks about this is oversimplified, and I am also going to oversimplify it, but for the point of quick conversation, that makes the most sense. If everyone built their own roads, right, how long would it be until the guy who built the road on the way to the hospital told you, if you want to use my road, I get to fuck your wife?
Well, I mean,
A week?
you're not.
Like, how long before that type of power corrupts one individual to doing something barbaric? And Dave, I love you, but your response to this on Skanks was, I don't think the guy that built the road is going to end up doing this. And my response to that would be Harvey Weinstein. Like, yeah, no, a lot of times people come to that level of power because they want to do funky shit with it, right? So if you were the dude who built the road to the place that saves the lives, yeah, there's a good chance that maybe you might end up abusing that power in some pretty funky ways. So that would be my one argument to that, is that at least with the government, we have some level of, you can only rape me on the way to the hospital for 4 years, and then I'm going to vote for the guy who doesn't rape me on the way to the hospital, right? Whereas if it's libertarian, yeah, we could show up and kill him, like if we want to, but that's always an option.
The best option.
You know what I mean? But that's really kind of ultimately what you're left with, aside from build another hospital with another road to it, whatever. But I think we understand like the lack of feasibility this eventually gets to, right? So like, yeah, that would be my other argument against libertarianism is, have you ever been to the food court of an airport before?
Sure.
That's libertarianism.
Shake Shack.
When you pay $14 for a Whopper at a Burger King in an airport because fuck you, they got you, that's libertarianism. Like, that is the world of dynamic pricing at Wendy's.
Right.
Is libertarianism. It, like, there's just free market, let's just let it run, man. Oh, it's snowing outside. Whoppers are $12 then. It's snowing because we can. Like, that's the world that we'd be choosing to live in if we like went down the rabbit hole of libertarianism.
Well, and I need to research this in a way that's intelligent. But if I'm to quickly quote something that I do not fully understand, I heard once that someone said, technically, the libertarians believe that is false capitalism. Like the capitalism we're doing right now,
Sure.
we're not
Yeah.
doing it right. And that's what leads to bullshit like that. And monopolies are due to false capitalism. And like they explain like all the bad things of capitalism. They go, oh, it's because it's not real.
And I would make the same argument that the same perverse incentives of the free market getting their hands into the government is why the government doesn't work correctly. Yes, I think ultimately what we need is a separation of church and state more than anything else, so that we actually can parse out what the fucking problem is, right? This is why I love America falling apart. Michael Malice talks about the American divorce and what happens in a divorce, right? I know what happened when my mom and my dad got divorced.
Yeah.
You very quickly saw who the winner and the loser was. My mom was a fucking loser, right? And it was not hard to put that together after a little bit of time. You could see sort of who the problem was. So I think when America gets divorced, when Alabama is allowed to do all the Alabama-ish, their maximal Alabama-isms,
Sure.
You know what I mean? Be full Bama, right? And Vermont can be as faggoty as they want to, you know what I mean? Like, full bore faggot in Vermont, full Nazi fucking right wing in Bama, and like give them 10 years and see who's doing it right. You know, I love those ideas ultimately for things. So yeah, I think the thing, and listen, me and Dave end up agreeing on a lot of things because even in our kind of more maximalist positions on our sides, you know, they tend to fucking end up coming around to being a lot of similar shit ultimately. Listen, I'm a classic liberal. I'm a Chomsky liberal. I believe in personal liberties and freedoms. I'm not a nanny state guy. Like, I do agree with Dave on a lot of things. I just think someone pays for it And when it's regressive taxation, you pay twice as much because they don't know. Right? Say, let me put it this way. This is actually probably, I'm glad we got onto this.
Sure. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. So say you run an Airbnb.
Uh-huh.
Now, if you knew my Airbnb is, let's say, oh no, never mind. Let's not even say you run an Airbnb. This apartment. Let's say you own this apartment, Sanker. You have two choices. You can rent it to somebody for monthly, a renter, your regular,
Regular
whatever.
income. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah, rent is coming in, set your price, and it comes in every month.
Yep.
Or you could Airbnb this out, play a little bit more of a gamble, hope that maybe 60% of the time it's occupied, 30%, whatever your numbers are you're trying to hit. But the number that you charge because you have uncertainty
Is higher.
reflects that uncertainty.
Yeah.
And so when you pay regressive taxation, you're paying an amount that reflects that uncertainty. So when the roads are paid for collectively through the government, we have a general idea of what that number is. What has to be taken out from everybody at the lowest whatever amount that makes sense per person, per income to pay for those fucking roads. But when you go to Miami, they don't know how many people are going to use the grocery store that day. So they have to charge you in tolls, a regressive taxation that reflects that insecurity. So I don't like regressive taxation. I think if everyone knows what they're going to pay and what it takes, I think that you can keep costs down a lot further. And truthfully, if you are an active member of society, to the job creators, as conservatives and libertarians would say, what do job creators do more than layabouts? Right? Things, simply put. They do things. They have trucks on the road. They have whatever. So one, there's two arguments to be made here. Let's take Amazon, for example. Let's just say a young Jeff Bezos is looking for a place to start Amazon. And he can start it in a state where, yes, he's going to be taxed on it. There is higher rates of that, a Washington state, let's say. Or he could do it in Florida. The insecurity of getting those trucks on the road in Florida, where every time you put your transports out to take a ship, they get hit with a toll of $17 or whatever it is, right? You being a job creator, you being someone who adds to the economy, is actually hurt at a higher rate through regressive taxation than you are hit through regular taxation as we know it. So it actually de-incentivizes entrepreneurship because of the insecurity of not knowing what those fixed costs might be versus having an accountant tell you this is how much you have to put aside for benefits and for whatever and for whatever. It is a much more complicated system. There is many more insecurities to it. I just don't think it works ultimately in the end. And the other argument you would make with those companies like an Amazon is when it comes to taxing them, they use more shit. When you have more transport trucks on the road, you are using more of the public utilities than other people. So billionaires and rich people should be taxed at a higher rate because they drain utilities at a higher rate. There aren't just one person. They are the ones making the wheels that everything happens move. Like, it makes no sense to tax a person who walks from his house to his job and fucking does whatever and makes a meager income. It doesn't make any sense to tax him at the same rate as a guy who has a bunch of people going out and driving and running power through the city and doing all the things that we need to pay for. The richer you are, the more of those things you use. So that's why taxing you at a higher rate makes sense. And listen, if you got dinged with more regressive taxes, maybe that is a more, you could argue to Dave's point, maybe that's a more fair reflection of your use. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that's what libertarians are trying to do. I don't think they're trying to more accurately represent their use. I think they're trying to get out of paying the bill. And
sure.
And listen, I've had this plan for a long time. this would never work, and it would be very controversial, but my way of fixing this would be a program I call Society. And so you would be given an option, right? So let's say we could isolate, let's say even all of Canada. Fuck it, right? I'm the Prime Minister of Canada, and I'm running on this platform of Society. The way it works is you could opt in or out of Society. And what that means is you pay your taxes, you get your health care, you get your publicly funded education, you get to use the roads, you get to have your fucking lights, you get to have, all the things we pay for, our taxes go to. Those, you have police service and fire service and whatever. You can opt out of Society, and you will have to regressively pay for those things. So when you use the roads, you don't have, so people who opt in Society will get like a little 407 tag on their car, right? That beep, I'm using the roads, I'm part of Society. You want to get in the streetcar? Beep, I'm part of Society. I've paid for the streetcar. We're good. I have set my fixed amount of 37% of my income or 62 or whatever the fuck it is that we find that is a comfortable amount to go, all your fucking shit's taken care of. Like all of the things you expect the government to handle, and then a little more so, let's make it nice, are taken care of. And the people who don't want to be a part of that can regressively pay for things. You go to the hospital, you pay for it. Your house burns down, the firefighters will come, but you're going to get a bill like an uninsured person in America gets a bill when they have a heart attack and an ambulance has to come. Sure, the cops will protect you, but you are going to get a bill for the cops protecting you. You aren't part of Society. You don't have to pay taxes. You get to go to work. You get to do your job, do your thing. You have no less rights. People can't infringe on your rights. The cops do. Everyone has to treat you the same. Mm-hmm. But when you use public service, you have a pay to per play thing because we're paying for it. So now you're paying us back. And on top of it, for the Society, much like when you live in like Alaska and you get like money back because of the oil or whatever, like the government gives you money or whatever in Alaska. If enough people that are opted out of Society end up using Society services, they pay down Society's bill. So if $1 billion comes in from knuckleheads who don't want to be part of Society, that lowers everyone in Society's monthly bill towards paying that shit down. And so everybody gets to live in the same place. We have all the same rules, the same laws, the same whatever, but you can either not pay or pay, and you get to act and behave differently. And I think that that's a pretty interesting solution to our, like, what is the fundamental difference between, what's conservative and liberal at the end of the day? It's really that, so.
Sure. Double societies.
Yeah. All right. I think that's long enough, right? We're good? Yep. I like that. That's a fun way. Dave, we're going to try to get that clip to you. If you're coming in February, I'd love to have you on the pod and get down to the fucking, listen, I think I'm pretty well credited at this point with the libertarian philosophy of the fuck your wife theory of libertarianism. That is my theory on libertarianism, and I would love to debate you on the fuck your wife theory of libertarianism if you'd give me that shot. Rob Lazar. I had a lovely weekend in Toronto at the Yuck Yucks. This year is coming to an end soon, and I am going to have to go back on the road to all the same fucking places again very soon, way too soon. If I had a real career, but based on how things are going, I will be in Burlington again any minute now. So, to prepare myself for my 2026 tour dates, I will be running a new hour about like 10 times, I think, between December 26th and December 30th at the new venue, Catacombs Cabaret, 474 Queen Street West. If you are a podcast listener, I am just, like a lot of this, I'm going to be reading off like a notebook at times, just like trying to figure out new things. It is me working on shit. So if you'd like to come see it, DM me. I'll get some people in. If you'd like to pay, also that's sick too. Ticketscene.ca. But listen, if you're at the level of watching a podcast now, little rewards like this will come. So if you'd like to see the show for free, please let me know and I'll get you in there. Ticket Scene will have all the shows on it, so you can check it out there. Other than that, suck my dick.